welcome to Legal Affairs. My name is Diamond Litty, and I'm the public defender of the 19th Judicial Circuit. And we are going to be talking about a great program called the Father and Child Connection Program. And with us is Eric
Seibenick.
Seibenick, who is the program director. Yes. And welcome. How are you?
I'm very well. Thanks for having me.
Let's go back a little bit. Let's talk about you for a moment, and then we'll talk about me. No, we won't.
Okay.
I've talked about me long enough.
Yes.
Lawyers like to do that. You understand?
Favorite topic.
You have been the program director for how long for this program?
I've been with the Early Learning Coalition for 5 years, and that's how long this program has been running. Okay.
And prior to that?
Prior to that, I was with the Department of Children and Families.
Okay. And for how long were you with them?
1 year.
Okay. And so why the transition, and what
brought me to this point?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I've been in the social services field for 20 years.
Well, that was my point. Yes. So what did you do before DCF?
Well, I have been working with, I'll call them Kids at Hope for many years.
Oh, sure.
Incarcerated youth, teaching farms, and working with couples and foster children and these kind of things for many years.
So this is where your heart is?
This is where my heart is. Prevention. Prevention is where it's at.
Absolutely. So then you left DCF. Did you start this? Was this your idea?
Well, actually, this idea is a brainchild of the Children's Services Council of St. Lucie County, and they were looking for an agency that could administer the Father and Child Connection.
Okay.
And they found the Early Learning Coalition.
And let's go back. You know, I have a program every month, and we talk about juvenile issues, children's issues, programs, ideas, things to help them, all related to the school and the child.
Yes.
Okay. The terminology, if you will, or the places that always come up and the entities that always come up are Early Learning Coalition,
yes, Department
of Children and Families. Gosh, what's the other? These entities.
Usual suspects.
Yeah, they're always part of children in our community.
Yes.
So, but I glaze over it. Let's start with the Early Learning. What the heck is the Early Learning Coalition?
Oh, I'm glad that you asked. Early Learning Coalition was formed in 1999 as I have some notes here, as a legislative mandate to help families of lower income find adequate child care, to serve as resources for families and the community. And they oversee, or they provide technical assistance to many child care centers in our community, 100 some at last count.
Wow.
And so parents call.
And this was a legislative initiative?
Legislative
so
initiative.
It's in the statute.
Yes.
And still is?
Yes.
And it's funded by the state?
Yes.
Okay.
And local match.
Right, of course, and private donations, I'm sure, whatever. Okay.
Yes. And they receive, gosh, I think they say about 4,000 calls a month of parents looking for child care, looking for direction on resources, and so we're a hotbed of information and referral.
Okay. And the Early Learning Coalition.
Yes.
Well, I didn't realize they'd been around that long. Okay, the Early Learning Coalition came up with this idea about the Father and Child Connection.
Actually, the idea came from the Children's Services Council.
Okay.
And they found the coalition to be a good administrative body to develop this program.
Okay, so tell me about the Children's Services Council, because that's another.
That'll be a quiz.
Well, no, and we all. I talk about that a lot, but again, in a nutshell, what is the difference between Early Coalition, Learning Coalition, Children's Services?
Children's Services Council is the best bang for your tax dollar in this community. For about $20 a year, the taxpayers get a plethora of very effective programs that serve children, keeping them off the streets, improving literacy, reducing substance abuse, teen pregnancy, all of these concerns that we have as a society.
Okay.
And they're just a wonderful organization that operates on a shoestring budget that
gives money
helps fund many of these programs.
Okay, and I guess that's the one that's up for...
Yes.
Okay.
Next year, I believe.
Okay. Is that statewide? I think we.
There are coalitions by county. There's a Martin County Children's Services Council, St. Lucie County.
Okay, so now we know,
Yes.
and this is good. I hope everybody's watched this show, so
Yes.
we have all the definitions.
It's an easy vote for yes.
Okay, so we've got Children's Services Council. They wanted to find a place to
They could develop this program.
Okay.
And they chose me.
And they chose you. So
Yes.
you've been
The developer.
since day one.
Yes.
Okay. So now the burning question,
Okay.
while you're here, what in the heck is the father and child connection?
I'm glad you asked. Well, my most important job title is dad. I
Okay.
love being a father. As a young father, I had a lot of questions and concerns. And
How
things.
young were you?
I wasn't that young. I was a middle-aged father.
Okay.
How old was I? Quick math. I was maybe 30.
Okay.
So I wasn't young. But as a beginning father,
Right.
and I figure I'm not alone in my quest to how to do this right. How do I not screw up my kids?
Well, and you're educated. You know,
Mildly.
I mean, you've got graduated from
Yes.
high school. You've got,
Yes.
you've
Master's degree.
Okay, you got
Yes.
you got a master's degree, and you're got some questions even about the basics.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think part of what sealed the deal for me is when I was with the Department of Children and families that I met, it seems like if they just had a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of training, none of this would have ever happened.
Okay.
Instead, I faced a tragedy rather than a great opportunity for this family to grow and learn. And so I said, you know what? I have to be more preventative. And this was just a great opportunity, the father and child connection. I can reach out specifically to men, boyfriends of mom, grandfathers, uncles, male mentors in our community,
Okay.
and empower them. We celebrate those areas that they're doing very well, and then we also take a closer look at those areas where they struggle or they have no clue. Or many of us will parent the way that we were parented, for better or for worse.
Right.
If you had an excellent parent, mom and dad, you'll
did.
probably follow in the similar steps. If you remove that great influence and encouragement and nurturing, you may have taken a different track.
Well, but I know people that have had bad experiences with their parents and actually have
Learn from
said,
it.
"Oh my gosh, I am never going to have that temper. I
Yes.
am never going to be that enabling, whatever." And
Yes.
they've learned from their parents' bad mistakes too.
Yes.
But anyway, so go ahead. I'm
History repeats itself
Right,
in
right.
general.
Yeah.
And you know, all praise to those folks that have made it.
Okay.
And I also say all praise to single moms, because I do have a number of moms that contact me saying that I'm the mom and the dad and I need help, and I'm
Oh, I like it.
I'm more than
Right,
willing to help.
okay.
And oftentimes some mothers come to my programs and I welcome them with open arms. But speaking specifically of fathers, they're a reluctant bunch to get involved. You know, I think folks don't want to admit that, hey, I could use some help, or I don't know how to handle my 2-year-old or my 15-year-old. It's kind of a struggle. What do I do? And it's harder to reach men than it is to reach women on that same topic.
Okay, let's back up. Is this a course they take? Do
Yes.
they call? Oh, it is.
It
okay,
is.
so
Let me tell you a little more about it.
Okay.
I work with folks one-on-one and in small group. They can call me most any time. And I'll repeat my number.
Okay, go ahead, repeat it.
772-579-3419.
Okay.
But we meet and have an initial meeting, just talk about how their family's going, and I kind of measure some of their strengths, some of their concerns, and then see if they'll commit to taking a course. I have a 12-week course called the Nurturing Parents or Nurturing Fathers
Wow.
program.
Okay.
And it's a evidence-based curriculum. And we function...
What's evidence-based?
Evidence-based means the stuff we're using works.
Okay.
It's been proven with research that it improves parents' nurturing skills, their attitudes, and overall it prevents future abuse.
Okay.
Can't guarantee it. I wish I could.
Okay.
Okay. But we operate, and I don't want to give a local big box store, but we operate almost like a hardware store in that folks may come in for a specific thing, but we have many more resources available.
So maybe
Countless.
daddy comes in and says, "I think I'm a good father in general, but I have the bad temper. I you know.
Excellent example.
Okay. What do you do?
And so we address that. I'm not an official anger management program,
right.
but we
no,
do dive
I've
into
used it, yeah.
that anger has its roots in many issues: frustrations, stressors, communication skills or lack thereof. So we address those pieces that build up to be, say, an anger problem. And then they're better able to communicate with their children, with their significant others. They can recognize their signals of, hey, I'm starting to feel angry. Here's the thing Eric suggested I do. I need to, with all due respect, I need to take a break.
Okay.
So we've got some skills we put in place.
So this 12, it meets what time do you meet?
We meet every day of the week in many different locations. I'm running all over St. Lucie County.
Oh, okay. So it's not just you doing the teaching, it's how many people?
It's me. I'm a one-man army.
Oh, wow.
I go everywhere.
Okay.
I'm at 4 different libraries throughout the month, and I can list those a little bit later. You'll probably see me in every fast food facility in our county because sometimes I meet folks that don't have transportation. So I said, okay, what's close to your home? Let's meet there. So I'll hold courses in my office, which is 2102 Avenue Q at the old Garden City building, or I'll meet wherever is convenient for the folks that need help.
Well, that's incredible. So what times do you meet? And this is 5 days a week or 7?
5 days a week throughout the day, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and sometimes in the evening. All 4 library workshops are at 6 p.m., and those libraries are Lakewood Park, Morningside Library, Hurston Branch, Fort Pierce Library.
Every night?
Not every night, but once a month with the libraries.
Okay.
Once a month.
Okay.
So I'll be at all 4 of those libraries once a month.
Okay, and what is the charge for this?
Free of charge to all St. Lucie County men.
Oh, my gosh.
Can't beat it.
Oh, wow. So, is there a screening process? I mean, let's... Okay, and I'm not going to get to court-ordered help from you. That's a different thing. We'll talk about
another interview.
Yeah. Okay. We probably won't get to it today. Let's just talk about the guy who comes in and needs, just help with anger or with he's got 4 children and he tends to give most of his attention to one and the other 3 feel left out or whatever. Do you, is there a questionnaire? Do you just talk to him?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We have various topics that we cover each week that will get to the heart of some of those matters.
Okay.
How do you empathize with all of your children in your family? How do you raise both boys and girls? Some men are a little more comfortable just with their boys, and I guess my wife put me to the test one time when we were expecting our little girl. We were at a friend's house, and their young daughter wanted to play makeup with me. I'm going, oh boy, is this really going to be part of it? So I did get my nails painted, and she wanted to do my hair, but I kind of drew the line at that.
Yeah.
But I was trying to relate, and I have tea party and these kind of things. And I don't want to be stereotypical, but I'm trying to relate. And these kind of things are very important that, most men have not had a lot of tea parties or done makeup or played with dolls, but yet that's what's important to my daughter, and so that's what's going to be important to me.
Right.
And so that mind shift is very important. Empathy.
Do you ever meet with a daddy and say, I don't think his intentions are good. I'm not going to take him?
Very few.
Okay.
I'm eternally hopeful for every person that seeks help.
Okay.
Yes.
So how do they get on the rotation? Let's say they see you on a Thursday. I mean, are you so many places and have so many varied courses that they can slip in and get in?
Yeah, some can slip in to a course schedule that's just begun. Others will probably begin again or find a space.
So they may have to wait a couple of weeks.
Not even a couple of weeks. I can see almost anybody the week that I'm contacted or within a week.
And how long is
each session?
Each session
is about an hour or so long, depending on their needs. I try not to cut anybody off. If we need an hour and a half, we'll do that.
Okay. And how many people normally in your groups?
Our groups are small. Like I said, I do from one-on-one to a small group of 5 or so. I've had classes up to 30, but I think that was a little unruly. So I kind of like the 1 to 5 or even the 12 to be a maximum.
And when you have the group sessions, let's say of 5 daddies, Do they all kind of share their experience?
Oh, yes.
Is it kind of okay?
Oh, yes. Yeah. And usually the first one feels a little bit odd, and then the next one will say, "Oh my gosh, I had that same problem as well." Let's, and so it's very encouraging to know that you're not alone. We all have some of these same challenges.
Okay, and what about the mothers that are, because that was interesting.
Oh yes, yes. Well, the moms. I was running classes at Harvest Food and Outreach for some time, many years there, and that was often a hotbed of discussion, and it was really enriching to have both moms and dads there. So originally it started out with just men, and I had women knocking on the door saying, "We want to be part of this too." And
well, I don't know of anything for women like this, is there?
Yeah, I don't know if there's something specifically like this for women, but there are many services, thank goodness.
Oh no,
women.
I know that.
There's very few for men. It's kind of get it right or go to jail. There's not a lot of there's not a lot in between, so I'm hoping to stand in that gap.
Okay.
Yeah. And prevention and education.
Right. Okay. Are a lot of these men a petri dish for getting in trouble?
I serve folks. I serve a number of business executives that, by all by all standards, are excellent fathers, but they just had questions. I don't know what to do about this, or what do I do? I need some pointers. How do I have a little bit more enriching life? I'm very busy. What can I do with a limited amount of time? And so we try to make the best of that little bit of time that you have.
Wow, you do cover it all.
A nice little juicy nugget. And then I have folks on the far end of the spectrum that are, occasionally homeless, and they haven't worked in a while, and they're disconnected with their children, trying to get custody. And so, there's a range of challenge there and opportunity.
Well, now, how do you put the business executive with the homeless guy?
I don't.
Okay.
Not often. No.
Okay.
Yeah, not often.
So that wouldn't work? I'm just curious. Or could it work?
Sometimes you'll see that mixture. I also offer another service called our Family Law Forum. Once a month, we have a volunteer attorney that comes in that answers family law-related questions related to custody, child support, anything that's preventing a father from having connection with their children. And moms do come, and I may get executives, or that's where you'll really see the country schoolhouse of individuals coming in.
Right.
A real mix.
You have local lawyers that agree to do every month?
I have 3 that rotate.
Who are they?
I have Steve Tierney, I have Chet Weinbaum, and I have Joe. Forgive me, Joe, I'm forgetting your last name. Starts with a D.
DeFranca or something like that?
That's him.
Okay.
Forgive me, Joe.
Well, and I'm sorry.
Joe DeRoss.
Oh, Joe DeRoss.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Excellent attorneys.
Yeah. So they answer. No, that's great, because so often the frustration level and I haven't done family law, thank you,
in a while,
for so many years that I'm out of the loop, but I know. Talk about that arena is no different than the criminal arena, as you know.
Yeah. And some of these folks are just buried with, child support, and although I'm paying child support, I still don't have any access to my child.
Right. And what do I do about that?
And they all assume that I'm an attorney, and I go, well, I play one on TV, but no, I say, please come to our forum. And our forum is every 3rd Thursday of the month.
Right, and they really get their, because oftentimes it's like, well, sir, until you file a petition for modification or a motion for contempt or something, you're out of luck.
Yeah.
And sometimes that is the answer, I guess.
Yes.
But what I started to say is that, and I'm sure you see, is that, this legal end of it just exacerbates the frustration level of these daddies, I mean,
and that's where the anger piece comes in. So
right.
I say, we can't do much about what the judge has said or about what your ex has said, but we can do everything about how you manage yourself.
Right.
How you conduct yourself as an upstanding citizen, as someone who's in control of themselves.
Right.
That's where we work.
Right.
As the process works as well.
Okay. And wow, this is great.
You should sit in on.
Pardon?
Care to volunteer?
Yeah. I can't answer any.
Special guest?
Yeah, I will absolutely. No, I'll come sometime. I mean, the problem is I'll only be able to answer what happens if you do something criminal.
Yeah, after you've already blown it. Yeah.
After you really screwed up, then you can, well, let's. Okay, let's go. God, there's so many things. So if somebody you're the one-man show, but don't you? Okay, obviously I could volunteer. The lawyers volunteer, but
sure.
Do you need other help? I mean, do you need?
I always welcome volunteers or other folks that have expertise. I can't solve all of their concerns.
Right.
And in our initial assessment, if I see that they need other services, I'll be quick to refer them or give them contact information for other agencies that are in our town.
Okay, so after 12 weeks, do you have a graduation?
I have a graduation. Yes, they'll get a certificate. Oftentimes, it's a quieter ceremony because it may be just the two of us.
Right.
But I do get them a nice certificate. I give them a little bit of goodies and further information for the road. And the door is always open. I tell them when you graduate, this is only another door opening. I'm always available if you want to call, if you want to come back in. Some of my graduates have touched base 6 months later, to tell good news or, hey, I need additional information.
Right.
The strangest call from a graduate was all the way from Pakistan, or he said he was 10 miles from the Pakistan border. He said, that's all I can tell you, but I just want to let you know I'm doing okay, and although I'm a long-distance dad, we're doing fine. I was just...
Oh, my God.
I was blown away. That was the strangest call I'd gotten.
Oh, so, that's great.
Yeah,
that's great. Well, how many, do you, it's hard to quote statistics on, success, and what is a successful father,
we do measure pre and post, and I have to say, I can't give you the exact percentage, but probably high 95 or 98% of them show improvements in their post assessment with my evidence-based tool, and it's the tool I use.
So you actually do a kind of a test.
I do an assessment that scores out and gives me a chart, and I discuss that chart with them. Some parents are very validated, going, wow, okay, I'm doing okay. Others, it's like, wow, this is some tough news to break. But again, I see it as opportunity. Here's where you are now. And in a short time, we're going to change some of these attitudes. We're going to help you see differently. Here's new ways to relate with your children.
Well, do you ever get a daddy in there that takes the test and you're saying, well, sir, I don't know if you really should be doing this because you're doing great.
Yeah, I did have one that came in.
One in 5 years.
One. His scores were so high. I said, you really ought to be teaching this class.
Really?
It's phenomenal. He was so eager for information. I said, I admire you for being a lifelong learner. However, you're doing great. I mean, from what I've heard and from what I'm seeing on this assessment, you're doing great. And so he stuck with us for about 6 weeks or so and got what he needed and moved on.
Yeah, but you got to give credit to somebody, and I can see myself in, not that I'm the consummate mother, but I mean, I think at least some people, myself included, tend to be very hard on themselves and know that even if they're doing a pretty good job, they can always do better. And why not? I mean, my goodness, if a person had time to take advantage of this, why wouldn't you?
Exactly.
I would like to hear what you have to say, because although my son's just turned 18, God bless him.
So you get a life sentence there.
Yeah,
You're not done at 18.
Yeah, no. It's funny you say that, because I remember having a conversation with somebody, and the child was in trouble and everything, and the person who was talking to me did not have children, and he's made the statement, well, yeah, that's the thing about kids. Up until they're 18, boy, you're responsible and you're on the hook. And I said, you clearly don't have a child, because this is till the day you die.
Yeah, it doesn't end. You get a breath of relief, and then a whole new, I don't want to call it anxiety. Now that they're 18, oh my God, they're adults. Yeah. Now what? Did I do okay?
Yeah, and then the issues with their spouses or the grandchildren or whatever. I mean, it certainly is. Well, believe it or not, we are almost out of time. We've got about 3-4 minutes. Okay. Tell me, Eric, what kind of, if you had to put in a nutshell, 5 great tips to be a daddy.
Great tip.
What would you
Well, I
say?
can spell it out in 4 letters, and you've heard this before, I'm sure. TIME.
No.
If we will spend time with our children, that's the key. And I mean undivided time. Not like I'll sit with them while I'm watching my favorite sports game, or I used to take my children to Home Depot thinking I was spending time. Well, I was having fun, but they weren't.
Yeah.
Spending time with what they want to do. You know, if they want to play ball, that's what we do. If they want to have a tea party, that's what we do. If they want to sidewalk chalk, that's what we're going to do. If they want to throw the football, I know we've thrown the football 4 times this week, we're going to do it 5th time, that's what we're going to do.
Right.
That really makes a statement to them that you are important to me. So time is one. The second I would offer is attention. Will I truly pay attention? If I'm out doing sidewalk chalk, but I'm taking 4, 5, or 6 calls or texting, or, you know, I'm still trying to hear my game playing again, my attention is not on my child. So I want to spend time, and I want to pay attention. I will listen to what they have to say. So really, it's just being engaged in their life rather than trying to pull them so much into my life. They want to know they're important. What they have to say is important. We need to listen, because if we're not listening, who will? They'll find someone who finds them interesting. And oftentimes that's not who we want them to find.
Well, but isn't that the case in all relationships?
Yes.
I mean, you know, it's the bottom line. Wow. Well, that's pretty darn simple. And it is that simple?
Time and attention.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, no, that's great. That's great. And again, if the free service, they can call you. Give us the number again.
772-579-3419.
Okay. And, oh, God, I had one other question. Oh, and if someone wants to make a donation or anything like that, or volunteer,
they can contact me at the same number, or if they have donations, they can contact the Early Learning Coalition.
Okay.
And their website, I think, is going to be played across the screen.
Okay. And with 2 minutes left, give me your most satisfying story.
Most satisfying story. Well, I met a father who had done all the right things, got married, had a beautiful child, and then some things went awry in their relationship. And I met him when his child was about 1 month old, but he was not able to see his child.
Due to court orders?
A variety of reasons to protect his identity, but he was very distraught, and it just seemed like his life was in ruins. You know, my marriage is on the verge of separating. I'll never see my child again. Just everything was very, you know, he was in despair. And I'll just say I had lunch with him the other day, and it just seemed like none of that had ever happened. His relationship is restored. He's spending time with his daughter. We had lunch together. We walked in the park, and it's just so rewarding to see what could have been just a real tragedy turned out to be a very healthy thing, a very strengthening thing, if anything, for the family. So I guess I'm blessed to participate in those kind of experiences on a regular basis. You know, empowering families,
right,
and helping fathers do their job well.
So obviously it works.
It works.
Absolutely.
It works. It's made me a better dad as well.
Oh, of course.
Yes.
I'm gonna sign up.
All right. All right.
Because it's not over. It's the lifelong commitment.
That's right.
Okay, Eric. This was absolutely wonderful, and thank you so much. And I hope daddies take advantage of it, because clearly they can really learn a lot.
Excellent. Thank you, Diamond.
Have a great day.
You too.
Okay.